The Cubs win their series against the Minnesota Twins. They have now won 2 series in a row and 4 of the last 5. What's next for this team as they get ready to gear up and take on the Southsiders? That and more on this edition of the Cubs Baseball Channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Get in that comment section. Let us know how you feel about this team as they gear up for a battle between the Chicago White Sox. Here is your invitation to our show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Cubs Baseball Channel. My name is Anthony Pasquale, and you can find me on Twitter at ant_Pasquale3. That's where I'll be posting a lot of my Cubs takes, Cubs content, and that sort of thing. And also make sure to follow the Cubs Baseball Channel on Twitter, on Instagram, and on TikTok. You can find us on those different platforms and channels as we continue to promote our Cubs content on all the different platforms that we can. So find us, engage with us on there, follow us on there, and we'll make sure to keep in touch with you guys, not only here on YouTube about the Cubs, but also chop it up about our favorite team on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok as well. But the Cubs beat the Twins yesterday 8-2. I'm sure you guys saw our video after the game yesterday, but the Cubs with a really strong showing to capture the series against the Minnesota Twins. Ian Happ and Michael Busch both homered, which is where the Cubs got a majority of their offense, but they spread it around quite a bit. Christian Bethancourt had 2 doubles and drove in a run. Dansby Swanson drove in a run and came in to score on a wild pitch. Mike Tauchman was active. Isaac Paredes drove in a run himself, and so did Seiya Suzuki. So the Cubs did a really good job getting on and scoring often, which is something they haven't done a lot of this season, but have really started to turn a corner in offensively, just putting pressure on defense, stealing bases, putting the ball in play. And as a result, good things happened. The bullpen was also terrific. They served 5 scoreless innings up after Javier Assad went just 4 innings, allowing 2 runs. We gave Jed Hoyer a lot of flack at the beginning of the season for not giving the Cubs a good enough bullpen. I think it's time now we give him a little bit of credit for turning things around and giving the Cubs the best bullpen in baseball over the last 2 months. Now, there's obviously other bullpens in the league that I would prefer. There's teams that have a bona fide closer that I wish the Cubs did. But you got to give some credit to guys like Tyson Miller, who Jed traded for, and Jorge Lopez, who Jed signed, and Julian Merriweather, Drew Smiley. These guys have been awesome this season. And you mix in the emergence of Porter Hodge, Hector Neris when he's been reliable, the mixture of Hayden Wesneski and Keegan Thompson and whoever else you found available, Luke Little. The Cubs have turned themselves into a team where the bullpen isn't a joke, and it's almost a strength. And you got to give both Jed Hoyer and Craig Counsell some credit for that. They also made a move pitching-wise. The Cubs signed former Brewer and former Met Adrian Houser. I know you guys recognize that name. He was under Craig Counsell's regime in Milwaukee for 6 years. So it's a guy that Craig is super experienced with. I'm sure he had a big say in whether or not the Cubs acquired him. I'm not sure if he'll be up in the big leagues anytime soon. He pitched 2 2/3 innings for Iowa the other night and pitched well. So we'll keep an eye on his name as the rosters expand in September, and the Cubs might be needing some pitching. Unfortunately, one guy we won't be seeing for the rest of the season is Adbert Alzolay, as he is scheduled to undergo Tommy John surgery, which, of course, coming now in August, that puts him in jeopardy to miss all of 2025 as well. A super sad story because Alzolay was a guy the Cubs counted on in a big way last season. He had a 2.67 ERA in 58 games, also saved 22. Come into the season expecting him to be your closer, and all of a sudden he's not super effective at the beginning of the year, goes on the injured list around May, toggles back and forth between the injured list and rehab assignments. And now that we're in August, they determined that what he was dealing with in his arm and forearm was a little bit too severe to keep trying to rehab. And Tommy John is going to be the only option that could get him back on the field sometime soon. Super unfortunate. It's a huge loss to the Cubs bullpen this year, and they'll obviously have to plan without him for next season. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying that it's the Cubs' fault for trying to push him away from surgery instead of forcing him to do the surgery in April or in May. That's not the Cubs' fault or Alzolay's fault. It's up to the pitcher and the organization to decide if you want to go straight for surgery or if you think rehab can work. And they tried rehab, and it got to the point where rehab wasn't going to correct it. And the only thing that would is Tommy John. So that's where we are. Sucks for Adbert. I really like him. I hope we see him back in a Cubs uniform and pitching well. It's just, this is a very scary and serious surgery. And we'll keep you guys posted on his updates as he goes through a rehab after the surgery. Also, Keegan Thompson has been activated off the injured list and optioned to AAA Iowa. Should the Cubs need somebody, Daniel Palencia, Keegan Thompson, they're healthy. They're now pitching in Iowa, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. As the Cubs are now 3 games under 500. They're currently in last place, but I think they might be in 4th place now. I believe the Reds lost yesterday. So the Cubs should be in 4th place. Scratch that. 9 games back in the NL Central, 5.5 back in the NL Wild Card. These numbers are still low, but they're climbing. 7.7% chance now to make the playoffs and a 4% chance to win the division. The Cubs are off today. They're also off Sunday, sandwiched between 2 games with the White Sox. On Friday, they play at 7:10. Jameson Taillon on the bump. Tomorrow for the Cubs against Garrett Crochet. And then on Saturday, it's going to be Justin Steele against Chris Flexen, who is on a historic 15-start losing streak, I believe, dating back to, I think, May. So those are the matchups. You're going to have Jameson Taillon and Justin Steele going against the White Sox as the Cubs try to punch the little brother in the mouth and get some wins back in the win column as they keep pushing toward playoff contention. But that'll do it for us on the Cubs Baseball channel. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And as always, tuning in to chop it up about the Chicago Cubs. Make sure to like and subscribe, ring the bell, get in that comment section, and follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. But for now, we'll talk to you tomorrow, and hopefully we're going to have some more Cubs news to discuss. Go Cubs.